Hey guys, so just a review of the first few weeks. The first week was about setting your foundation and opening to grace, that things might go better. And this incorporates most of it. So if you just keep pouring your weight down into your foundation and opening to possibilities, that's a lot of it. From there, we hugged in. We held ourselves firmly. We pulled in all directions to make ourselves stronger. It's like a gathering of the resources that we have. And then the fifth principle, and again, we'll skip into the third and fourth next week. The fifth is to extend from there. So there's this surrendering to grace, strengthening what you have, and offering it back out. Okay? And so going through the sequence we've been practicing, finding your breath, grace, strength, extension, brightness. Even your eyes open up bright. You inhale and you open your arms up. Exhale, fold in. Feel your foundation. You can check it out while you're down here, your feet parallel. Open to possibilities. Oh, maybe your back will release. Mine is. Then we squeeze strong. Hold ourselves where we're at, in the safety of where we are. Then we extend from there and see what's offered. Felt great. Chair pose. Foundation. Are we balanced? Are we at ease in our expression, our face? Can we strengthen here? And can we lengthen? Okay. Straighten your legs again. Grace. I like that. Strengthen and lengthen. Exhale, fold. Grace, strengthen, lengthen. Share. Grace, strengthen, lengthen. Let's go deeper. Strengthen, lengthen. Standing up on your right foot, lift your left. Strengthen, lengthen. Reach back. Hips squared forward, right? Asymmetrical posture in two planes. Strengthen, lengthen. I didn't mention grace, did I? Open wide, warrior two. Set your foundation, grace, strengthen, lengthen. And we'll come forward for warrior three. Relax, strengthen, especially your standing leg, and lengthen above it. Land back, grace, strengthen, lengthen. Really step to the front. And place your foot. Let's try those three principles in each pose. In silence, mostly. Reaching up. Folding down. Chair pose. Deeper chair. Standing on your left foot, go through your principles. Step it back, warrior one. Open wide, warrior two. Three principles. Come to the front, warrior three. Land your foot, warrior one. And sweep to the front. Come back. Let's do that again. Inhale up. Fold in. Going through the principles inside. Chair. You need to internalize them. Deeper. And exhale. Standing on your right foot. Stepping back. Opening wide. Moving forward. Landing back. To the front. Placing your foot. Sitting it with play. Expression on your face. Chair pose. Sink. One-legged stance. Warrior one, looking up. Warrior two, opening out. Coming forward for warrior three. Landing back to warrior one. And sweeping to the front. And landing. Good. Let's open wide. Feet parallel to start. Foundation, grace, strengthen, lengthen. Don't let the lengthening or the strengthening become stress. Just gathering your resources and brightening your expression. Let's turn your right foot out 90 degrees. Extend your arms out. You're going to reach out over your right leg. Place your right hand wherever it lands on your leg and reach up. Find your foundation. Squeeze. Pull your feet towards each other. This should plug your bones into your hip sockets a little better. And then extend your spine out. Curl your eyes up towards your top hand. Lengthen all your toes and fingers and eyes. Good. Let's squeeze and come back up. Turn your feet around. Left foot out, right foot in. Stand out. Find your foundation. Let's pause here. Squeeze, strengthen, and then extend and lengthen. Place your hand. So you're setting your foundation. The strengthening doubles up on it and extending out. So you find your strength and you grow because you trust your strength. And back up. Let's go feet parallel. Bow forward. So in a pose like this, I'll stand sideways so you can see it. When I forward bend, a lot of weight's coming out in front of my feet, so I counterbalance by moving my hips back, but not so much that the weight's in the heels. You keep finding your balance. Here, halfway down, I'm the most extended. Right? So as I start coming deeper, my hips come in as my head comes to match. And I find a new edge. I'll set my foundation. I open to the grace. Squeeze strong and then grow long. Which one do you need more of? Let's bring your hands to your hips. Aim your tail down to engage your core. Roll up to a stand. And step to the front of the mat again. Inhale up. Exhale, bow in. Let's go halfway up. What are the principles? Fold back down. Stay in balance. Chair pose. And straight legs. You take your left foot back a step. So again, this becomes the asymmetric posture in two planes. My feet going forward, back, the hips going side to side. Set my foundation, strengthen it, and open my heart. From here, I'm going to fold down over my right leg as far as I can, which might be more than you. That's okay. Just don't try to copy me. Just go where your body asks you to stop and meditate there. And within that meditation, squeeze strong. Maybe even curl your toes up to double up on the strength of that front leg. And push your feet back into the ground. I'm going to add a twist here. So your hands might be on your shin. Mine made it to the floor. So wherever your hand is, put it on your shin. Some people will use a block. But we're going to twist the spine, reach your right arm up, and drop your left shoulder down. This becomes a twisted triangle. But it's the same foundation. The hips going side to side. Shoulder going the opposite direction. Now, in this pose, more weight's in my front leg, but I'm still pushing down to my back leg for stability. You're going to squeeze your legs, sweep your hand up and over. And there's a fun twist. So I come up. As I come, I'm turning my feet, pivoting on my heels to go to the second side. And I think I talked about in class, one of the weeks, from the front you'll see this. Let's pause between sides here. So there's two ways to do this. Sometimes when you step back, you'll step back so the thighs are parallel. I talk about it as train tracks. And sometimes you'll step back and do kind of a tight wire, which is the more advanced version. You're not as stable side to side as when you have this extra width here. But it's a fun pose. However, if you do this version, if you pivot on your heels, actually if you do the railroad version and you pivot on your heels, when you pivot around, you're going to be beyond the tightrope version. Hope that made a little sense. So, we're going to do second side, left foot forward, right foot back. Square your hips, fold down over your front leg. Find your foundation, open up the possibility. Squeeze your legs strong and lengthen your spine long. And here you have the twist. Finding your breath, squeezing strong, growing long. 3 more breaths here. Twisted triangle. Cycling through your foundations and your principles. Enjoying your breath at your edge. Look back down, squeeze and rise back up. Your hands to your hips. Let's step your feet together. Come up onto your tiptoes. Bend your knees and squat down. Relax your wrists a little bit. Then place your hands down on the ground in front of you. Now your hands are part of the foundation, but most of the weight's probably on your feet. Notice here, right now, my elbows are wider than my wrists, so I'm going to pull my elbows in so they're the same width as my wrists. I'm going to lean forward a little bit till I feel my shins touch my elbows, or if your hips aren't quite that open, you can do your inner thighs on your elbows. I prefer shins. Now, you'll also notice, if I show from the side, let's just do foundation. Let's let this be the whole pose, actually. So foundation and grace, strength and extension. And this is enough of a pose. You don't need to do anything else. So if you remember, my elbows are the same width as my hands, but you can see my elbows are behind my hands. So if I tried to balance, I would fall down. So what I need to do now is move my elbows by coming up onto my tiptoes, lifting my elbows forward up over my hands. Now, there's a nice solid post I can rest my legs on. You might feel that your legs are basically resting on your elbows. There might still be weight on your feet, which means you're leaning backwards. So find your foundation of grace. Strengthen here. Squeeze your arms strong. And then lengthen your head forward, which will take your weight that lasts a little bit. Eventually, then you can float into balance. Come out of it if you got in, or however far you got in. And come and have a seat. From the seat, you're going to hold the backs of your legs. Feel your foundation, which right now is your hips and your heels. Squeeze in. Draw your heels, pulling your heels towards your hips. And you'll get the strength in here, and you might have noticed that when I do that, my spine gets longer. There's this automatic length, which I talked about, that you squeeze the toothpaste sometime, or hopefully, toothpaste comes out the end. So you squeeze in, you draw in, it gives you a length out. Whether it did or not, we're going to lengthen more. Right? Let's try that with your heels floating. Squeeze in, or feel your foundation, which is now just your hips. Squeeze in and lengthen. Right? With some of the lengthening, just spreading the eyelids and the toes and the hands, corners of your mouth. You're going to squeeze in again to make your hands light and float your arms. Feeling your foundation, squeezing in, reaching out. Sometimes you might want to reach out by straightening your legs more. You might only get height of Might only go up an inch, might get the height of your knees, you might get all the way straight. But whatever it is, you find your foundation, squeeze, and brighten. Good. Cross your ankles, bring your hands back behind you, new foundation. Open to grace. Squeeze in and extend up. Good. Let's straighten your right leg out and turning just for your visibility. Feel your foundation. Squeeze in, lengthen out. Wherever you get, pause there. Feel your foundation. Open up to possibility. Hold where you are and grow towards your limitation. Repeating this. Be open to wherever it goes. You might be different in either direction from a previous day. One more breath here. Then we'll sit back up. Straighten your bent leg just so you can feel a difference before going to the second side. And this is enough here, because you might want to go here. Cycle through your principles. Get better and better at not waiting for instructions. Let's sit back up. Place your feet next to each other, roll down onto your back. Hug your shoulders underneath you, feet on the floor, lift your hips up. So part of the foundation now is your shoulders and feet. You're going to hug in, pull your feet towards each other, towards your shoulders. And push into your feet. Open the foundation in grace. Hug in, extend out. Hug in, extend out. Go through it on your own. And we'll roll down. Finally, in general, until your hips are wide open, you're going to want to have a yoga strap around, or any piece of fabric. I'm going to put a loop of fabric on my foot just to make it easy to have a straight arm and a straight leg. Foundation's the whole back of my body, from my left heel to the top of my head. My leg is relaxing more and more to the strap. I haven't talked about this yet. We'll get more into this week. I love just rotating my leg a little bit. And then extend, I push back into the strap. Relax it. Strengthen it. Extend it. I can also pull my foot over my head. I like to keep my arms straight for this rather than bending. Relaxing, strengthening, extending, brightening. Stick your leg out to the side. Foundation, grace. Squeezing strong, reaching out. Especially where it feels tightest. Take it up, switch hands. Look at your right hand as you drop your right leg to the left. Wherever it gets. What a nice foundation. You can be strong here. I can offer myself. Bring your leg back up. Rest it down, feel the difference. We're going to the second side. So you can Some of you can grab your toe, especially if you reach up. Going through your principles. Out to the side. Feel your limit is there. Feel how the limit changes when you play with your principles. Cross it over. Wherever your body gets in any pose, that's where you start to practice. You'll make a difference in yourself. Bring your leg up. And then come into the corpse pose. Lay yourself out symmetrically. Find your breath. And this is all about your foundation and grace. Never mind the rest. And with your breath, don't encourage it. Don't make it go faster or longer. And don't resist it. Don't try to slow it down or shorten it. Just observe your breath. Watch it change. Let your whole body change. Stay here as long as you want. Thanks for practicing.